They just look so much bigger now than they used to.
Come on, you can take them breasts off and go with them. Wait. Okay, Gordy, belch.
The shocking reason Arsenio Hall banned her from the show began with an interview that went completely off the rails. What started as light banter between Arsenio and LaToya Jackson suddenly turned into one of the most unexpected moments in late-night TV history, the kind that had the audience gasping and producers scrambling.
They look great. I'm just saying, I don't think those are the ones that she came from Indiana with.
She wouldn't be the only guest to push things too far. From tense showdowns with Vanilla Ice to Sinéad O'Connor's jaw-dropping accusations after Prince's death.
Prince died. O'Connor wrote on Facebook that the singer was a, quote, longtime hard drug user who, quote, got his drugs over the decades from Arsenio.
To Louis Farrakhan's controversial appearance, the Arsenio Hall Show built its legacy on moments that blurred the line between unforgettable and unforgivable.
Kick it off, boys. It's time to get correct.
In the late 1980s and early 1990s, LaToya Jackson was trying to change how the public saw her. She wanted to move away from the sweet and clean image that people connected to the famous Jackson family. LaToya had always been seen as the quiet and innocent one, but she decided it was time to show a different side of herself. In 1989, she made a bold move by posing for Playboy magazine. The photo shoot was talked about everywhere. It showed her in a more daring and revealing way, something that surprised many people who were used to the Jackson family's more reserved style. Some people saw it as a sign that she was taking control of her own life and image, showing she could make her own choices. Others thought it was wrong and accused her of going against family values and social expectations. After the Playboy pictures came out, LaToya continued to make bold moves to keep the public's attention. She went on the Arsenio Hall Show to talk about her music and her career. Arsenio Hall was known for his playful, sometimes cheeky style of interviewing, and he often made his guests laugh while asking daring questions.
You know, we don't even need no music, because when it's pure, you don't need nothing with it, right?
During the interview, Arsenio brought up her breast enhancement surgery, something that was already a topic in the gossip columns. He mentioned it in a light and joking way, smiling and teasing her about her new look.
They just look so much bigger now than they used to.
Come on, you can take them breasts off and go with them.
They look great. I'm just saying, I don't think those are the ones that she came from Indiana with.
The audience laughed, but there was also a feeling of curiosity in the room, as everyone was waiting to see how LaToya would respond. What happened next became one of the most talked about moments on the show. In the middle of the playful conversation, Arsenio made another joke about her breasts. Without missing a beat, LaToya gave a bold and unexpected answer. She told Arsenio that if he wanted, he could feel them right there on live television. The audience gasped and laughed at the same time, shocked by her forwardness. Moments like this were rare for late-night TV, and it pushed the boundaries of what people were used to seeing. LaToya's quick and daring comeback showed that she was no longer afraid to be provocative and stir up conversation. The clip from that night spread quickly. Entertainment news shows replayed it, and tabloids ran headlines about LaToya's wild behavior. Some people applauded her, saying she showed confidence and refused to be embarrassed by personal questions. They saw her as a woman in control of her own body and image. Others, however, thought it was too much for television and said it was inappropriate for a family audience. After the incident, rumors began to spread that LaToya had been banned from returning to the Arsenio Hall Show. Some claimed that network executives and advertisers didn't want more controversy. They worried that moments like this could offend viewers or hurt the show's reputation. There was never clear proof that she was officially banned, but many believed she was quietly blacklisted, or that both sides decided it was better if she didn't return. Whether true or not, that interview became a symbol of LaToya Jackson's bold new image and her willingness to shock the world. Vanilla Ice was one of the biggest names in music during the early 1990s.
Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention.
His song, Ice Ice Baby, made him a superstar almost overnight. With fame came invitations to appear on popular TV shows, and one of the most important was the Arsenio Hall Show. But what should have been a friendly and exciting appearance turned into an awkward and tense situation. Ice had already been facing a lot of criticism from people who questioned if he was truly part of the hip-hop culture or just using it to make money. When he went on Arsenio's show, instead of avoiding drama, he brought it right to the stage. Some people believe the show later kept its distance from him to avoid any more public problems. The timing of this appearance made it even more intense. Vanilla Ice was at the top of his career, selling millions of records, but at the same time, many in the hip-hop community didn't trust him. They thought his background didn't match the image he was trying to project. Instead of being a happy moment to celebrate his success, the interview turned into a battle. There were big tensions in hip-hop at the time about race authenticity and how the culture was being used by people from outside the community. Arsenio, being deeply connected to that culture, was in a tough spot as the host. The interview began with Arsenio bringing up something Ice had said on the show the night before. Ice had told his critics to kiss his white ass. This was a bold and disrespectful comment, and starting the interview with it immediately made things tense. The audience could feel the awkwardness in the room. Instead of trying to calm things down, Ice seemed ready to argue. It was clear that this was not going to be a smooth conversation.
Okay? Now, listen to all that. Do you deserve that?
I didn't ask y'all.
Arsenio tried to give Ice a chance to explain himself, but Ice's answers came across as defensive and rehearsed. He kept talking about his street credibility, but to Arsenio, it felt forced. Many people believed Ice was pretending to be someone he was not. Coming from suburban Dallas, Ice's claims about his rough background didn't match what people knew about him. Arsenio, who had grown up in the culture, found it hard to listen without questioning him.
I'm not sure if I was poking fun at him as much, because to be totally honest with you, I wasn't feeling funny.
One of the most uncomfortable moments came when Ice actually showed the audience his stab wounds. He seemed to think this would prove he had lived a tough street life. But instead, it just made things worse. Real credibility in hip-hop is not about showing scars. It's about being respected in the community. The move made Arsenio cringe, and it showed how disconnected Ice was from the deeper meaning of the culture. Ice then made comments about white people not being able to dance or have rhythm. He might have thought he was praising black culture, but the way he said it sounded more like a stereotype. It showed he didn't fully understand the community he was trying to be a part of. Arsenio's frustration grew as Ice kept saying things that missed the point. Things hit another low when Ice brought Flavor Flav on stage, as if to prove he was accepted in hip-hop. To Arsenio, this felt disrespectful, as if Ice was using a respected artist as a prop instead of treating him as an equal. It made the whole interview feel even more staged. Arsenio began to push harder with his questions, especially when the topic of MC Hammer came up. There were rumors that Ice had spoken badly about Hammer, who had helped him in the past. To Arsenio, this showed a pattern. Ice seemed willing to use people for his own gain, and then turn on them when it suited him.
Did you know about him taking medication for pain?
Not necessarily. I've never even seen him take an aspirin or a Tylenol. I've never seen him take anything, you know.
In 2016, the world was shocked by the sudden death of music legend Prince. Fans everywhere were mourning, and tributes were pouring in.
The CPR fails. He is pronounced dead at 10:07 Thursday morning.
But in the middle of that grief, singer Sinéad O'Connor made a statement on Facebook that caused huge trouble. She claimed that TV host Arsenio Hall had been supplying drugs to Prince for many years. This was not a small rumor. It was a serious and damaging accusation. She gave no proof, no facts, and no evidence. Yet, the timing made it worse because the world was already emotional about losing Prince, and her words spread like wildfire. Arsenio Hall had known Prince for many years. Prince had often appeared on Hall's talk show, not just for interviews, but to perform music, share news about his tours, and even premiere new songs. They had a friendship built on trust. Prince didn't do a lot of TV appearances, but he felt comfortable with Hall. That is why O'Connor's words were so hurtful. She was not only accusing Hall of being involved with drugs, she was also suggesting he played a part in the death of someone he called a friend.
Prince died. O'Connor wrote on Facebook that the singer was a, quote, longtime hard drug user who, quote, got his drugs over the decades from Arsenio.
The impact on Hall was personal and professional. Professionally, his name was now connected to a drug scandal that was not true. Personally, he was dealing with the pain of losing a close friend while being accused of something horrible. It is one thing to face lies from strangers, but to have it come from another artist, especially one who had worked with Prince before, made it feel like a deep betrayal. The story quickly spread online and in the news. Social media made it worse because once a rumor starts, it can reach millions of people in minutes. Many people read the accusation but never saw the truth later. This meant Hall's reputation was being damaged before he even had a chance to respond. In the age of the internet, false claims can move faster than facts. It was also strange that O'Connor had been close to Prince in her own way. Her biggest hit song, Nothing Compares to You, had been written by Prince himself.
Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want.
Instead of honoring his memory, she was attacking someone else who had also been close to him. Many people believed her words came more from emotion and confusion rather than truth. Hall decided he could not let the rumor stand. He filed a $5 million lawsuit against O'Connor, not because he wanted her money, but because he wanted her to admit she was wrong. He knew that if he stayed silent, the lie might become something people believed forever. This was his way of defending his name and making sure the truth was known.
But the fact that somebody's being held accountable for their social media post, it's about damn time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is $5 million. Is she going to end up paying some money for this?
Eventually, O'Connor apologized and took back her words. But for Hall, the damage was already done. The false story had reached millions. Even with her apology, some people would always remember the rumor and not the truth. This is one of the most painful parts of being a public figure. Once a lie is out, it can never fully be erased.
I apologize for my Facebook post about Arsenio to the extent that anyone thought I was accusing him of acting as Prince's drug dealer and supplying him with illegal hard drugs.
When Arsenio Hall invited Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam, to be a guest on his talk show, it caused a big stir. Farrakhan is a very well-known figure, especially in the African-American community. Many people admire him for speaking about Black pride, unity, and self-improvement. He often encourages Black people to take control of their lives, start businesses, and work together. But at the same time, he has been accused of making comments that many see as anti-Jewish and insulting to certain groups. Some organizations, like the Simon Wiesenthal Center, were upset about Hall's decision to have him on the show. They were worried because Hall was known for being a friendly interviewer who didn't usually ask tough or challenging questions. These groups feared Farrakhan would get a chance to promote his ideas freely without being questioned. Despite all the pressure, Hall still decided to go ahead with the interview.
We were shocked at the attention that it got on the day the booking was announced. But
some people noticed something interesting about the backlash. They pointed out that no one complained when Bill Clinton, who was running for president at the time, appeared on Hall's show. Hall did not ask Clinton any hard questions either. There were also no complaints when another talk show host, David Letterman, laughed and joked with Vice President Al Gore on TV. Even President Clinton had been seen having casual chats on television without being grilled with serious questions. This made some people wonder if the outrage toward Farrakhan's appearance was truly about the interview style, or if certain people simply didn't want Farrakhan to have such a big platform. When the night of the interview came, the audience quickly saw that Hall was not going to challenge Farrakhan. Instead, he was friendly, often smiling and letting Farrakhan speak without interruptions. Farrakhan is a skilled and confident speaker who knows how to make his ideas sound appealing. Because Hall didn't push back or question him, Farrakhan was able to present himself in a very positive way. At one point, Hall even reacted with "wow," as if he was impressed. This was exactly what many critics had feared. It looked less like a tough interview and more like a celebration of Farrakhan. One of the biggest controversies around Farrakhan at the time was about one of his top aides, Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Muhammad had made shocking remarks in a speech calling Jews bloodsuckers and insulting gay people and white people. Farrakhan suspended him but also said parts of Muhammad's speech contained truths. This upset many Jewish organizations, who said Farrakhan was spreading hate. Farrakhan argued that the media, which he claimed was controlled by Jewish people, was trying to silence him. During the interview, Hall asked Farrakhan why so many people didn't want him on the show. This gave Farrakhan an easy chance to present himself as a victim. He said people feared him because he spoke the truth and that there was a secret effort to stop him from talking. The audience clapped, which made it look like they agreed. Farrakhan then mentioned that black talk show hosts like Oprah Winfrey and Montel Williams had never invited him, suggesting they might be too scared. Hall's interview made it seem like he was the only one bold enough to give Farrakhan a voice. At one point, Hall brought up that some people called Farrakhan the new Black Hitler. Since Hitler was responsible for millions of deaths, this was a very serious comparison. Farrakhan denied wanting to harm anyone and said such labels came from people afraid of black unity. He kept referring to they, but never clearly said who they were, leaving the audience to guess. One of the most talked about moments was when Madonna came on the show. Madonna was already known for saying whatever was on her mind. She didn't hold back, and that night was no different. She teased Arsenio about his hairstyle, making jokes that had the audience laughing. Then she went even further by joking about his rumored friendship with actor Eddie Murphy. She made playful comments that hinted at more than friendship, which got the audience roaring but also raised some eyebrows. Madonna didn't stop there. She threw light shade at other celebrities, mentioning them in a way that made it clear she wasn't afraid to speak her mind. These bold comments got people talking for days and helped the show's ratings. But behind the scenes, some producers were worried. They knew Madonna could say anything at any time, and on live TV, that could mean trouble. Insiders later said that while she wasn't officially banned, she was not invited back often because producers didn't want to risk an unpredictable moment going too far.
Do you sometimes think about the show being canceled just so you can enjoy your life?
Oh God, no.
Another tense moment came when Shannon Doherty appeared on the show. At the time, Shannon was known for her role on Beverly Hills 90210 and for having a reputation of being strong-willed. During her interview, she felt like some of Arsenio's comments were a little critical, so she quickly defended herself. She spoke openly and directly, making it clear she wasn't going to let anything slide. This kind of honesty was unusual for late-night TV, where most guests kept things light and fun. The conversation became a bit awkward because Arsenio and the producers weren't expecting such a serious tone. The audience could feel the tension, and it wasn't the relaxed vibe the show usually had. There was never an official announcement that she was banned, but fans noticed she didn't come back in later seasons. Many believed her assertive style made producers think twice about inviting her again, especially since the show was meant to keep viewers laughing, not feeling uncomfortable. She was a big pop star at the time, and her interviews with Arsenio often had a flirty tone. The two seemed very comfortable together, and their chemistry made people talk. The tabloids loved to suggest that Paula and Arsenio might be dating, and this only added more attention to the show. In reality, Arsenio and Paula had dated in the 1980s. Arsenio once spoke about how much fun they had together. He said Paula had such a great sense of humor that sometimes she would laugh so hard she would actually pee. He compared that reaction to getting a standing ovation. He also said he had been madly in love with her and that she would always be special to him. But while their real-life romance gave them great on-screen chemistry, the ongoing rumors made producers a little uneasy. They didn't want the interviews to look too personal or take attention away from the show's other guests. So while Paula wasn't officially stopped from coming on, her appearances became less frequent over time.
Wait. Okay, Gordy, Belch.
One of the most intense interviews on the Arsenio Hall Show happened when the hip-hop group Public Enemy came on. They were famous for their political and social messages in their music. On the show, they brought that same energy. They spoke about serious issues like racism, inequality, and the government. The conversation became heated, not just between them and Arsenio, but also with some members of the audience. Public Enemy's style was confrontational, meaning they didn't sugarcoat anything. Some viewers loved it, but others thought it was too much for a late-night talk show. Network executives and sponsors started to worry about how these strong political messages would affect the show's image and advertising deals. After that appearance, Public Enemy was reportedly told they would not be invited back anytime soon. It wasn't a formal ban, but it was clear that the producers wanted to avoid another tense and unpredictable interview like that. These moments showed that while the Arsenio Hall Show was fun and full of energy, it also had to walk a fine line. The producers wanted exciting guests who would bring in viewers, but they also had to make sure nothing happened that could upset sponsors or the network. Madonna's playful but sharp jokes, Shannon Doherty's bold self-defense, Paula Abdul's flirtatious chemistry with Arsenio, and Public Enemy's heated political talk all became memorable TV moments. They got people talking, but they also showed why producers sometimes hesitated to bring certain guests back. The show's history is a good example of how live TV can be unpredictable. When you have guests who are outspoken and not afraid to push boundaries, you can get amazing television that people remember for years. But you also risk creating situations that are hard to control. For Arsenio and his team, it was always a balance between letting guests be themselves and making sure the show stayed in a safe zone for everyone involved. In the end, all these moments became part of the legend of the Arsenio Hall Show. Fans still talk about them, and clips still pop up online showing exactly why these appearances stood out. They remind us that live television is at its best when it feels real and unscripted, even if that sometimes means guests don't get invited back as often as fans would like.